Hi everyone, I'm Sebastian, and I think I'm going to do this talk in English. Is there anybody here who wants me to speak English? Okay, then you win. Yeah, I'm Sebastian. I'm working at Quartet Mobile in Munich. We are developing Android and iOS apps, mostly for Audi. Besides these apps, we also develop some frameworks and cool prototype stuff, and we are also hiring. So if anybody of you wants to move to Munich, it's a nice city. I don't care about soccer. The other logo here, Android Zeitgeist, that's my Android blog. I want to blog more, but usually one posting a month, maybe. If you're interested in Android development and maybe glass development, then check it out. The other logo there, Lands of Ruin, that's a hobby project of me and two friends. We are developing a tabletop game that you play with a tablet app. It's pretty cool. If you're into tabletop games, then check it out. Yeah, so today I'm here to talk about the thing that's sitting on my face, Google Glass. Let's take a look at the technical side first, and then I'll show some things you can do with it. So it's running Android 4. It's not running the latest version. It's Android 4.4. It's not Android 4.4, it's Android 4.03. It has 16 gigabytes of storage, 1 gigabyte of RAM, and the battery lasts roughly a day. It really depends on what you are doing. So if you are recording videos, for example, then it may only last 30 minutes. So as an example, I charged it before I got here. A couple of guys tried it, and now it's at 60%. So if you use it a lot, it's really fast empty. There's a small screen over here. It's a prism projector. As you can see, the resolution is really low, but it doesn't matter that much because it's only a small rectangle in your upper right corner. So the small resolution is really fine. There's a camera over here. You can take pictures, record videos. And in the front, there are also all the sensors you know from your mobile phone. So you can use them for head tracking, for example. There's a microphone in here. You can do phone calls or video chat, things like that. Glass reacts on various voice commands like, OK, Glass, take a picture. I'll show some of them later, and I encourage you to just try them. So after the talk, if you have some time, just come over and try them out. On the inner side, there is a bone conduction transducer that's for sound. You can also plug in some headphones via USB. And the big part here on the side is a touchpad. It can detect various gestures and multiple fingers at the same time. The device itself has Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, and as I said before, a micro USB port. It doesn't have cellular radio, meaning you can't put a SIM card in there. So if you want to have internet outside, then you need to pair it with your phone. And there is an application for Glass, and it shares the internet connection from the phone. One thing I have to say when you want to try it, it's the Explorer edition. That means it's a really early version. It's not the final product. Maybe the final product will be totally different. Nobody really knows. But you need to know that it has maybe some problems, or it's not what you expect from a final product. This is actually the second version. It has been swapped out. So if you're a Glass Explorer, how they call them when you are actually trying the device, then you already got the second device. of course, you had to ship your first one back, but they are constantly improving not only the software, but also the hardware. Every couple of months, there is a software update. Currently, it's version 12, and the next version should arrive maybe today. It really improves from version to version, but I'd say the future is not clear. It's a really new device, and they try a lot of stuff, and so this Explorer program is some kind of trial where you can try new things or maybe help shape them, create new things. The most interesting question probably is, what do you see when you wear glass, or how does it feel? So if I take it on, then right now I'm actually seeing this, and this means I don't see anything. By default, the device is off, and usually it's always off unless you activate it. You can do it by maybe touching the device, then the screen goes on, or you can move your head. This is actually a setting, and you can just move it 30 degrees to the back, and then the screen will go on. But what do you see when you activate it? You see the timeline, but what is the timeline? The first screen you see is the clock and the sentence OK glass, because that's where you can use multiple commands like OK glass, take a picture. I'll show some of them later. But this kind of card is a very usual pattern on glass. So you always see these cards, and actually when you are at the clock, you can swipe through these cards. And when you swipe to the right, you go to the past of the timeline. You see things that happened in the past, like this picture I took some time ago, or you see where you have been, or notifications you got in the past. So when you are back at the clock, you also can go into the left direction, again by swiping on this touchpad on the side. And then you see events that are currently happening or happening in the future, meaning like this screenshot I took some days ago, where it notified me that there is an upcoming event where I'm going to be. Or it shows stocks, because I searched for the Google stock on my computer, and so it thought that that's interesting to me. Here are some cards about stocks. You might know, or you might have seen these cards before. It's the same you have on your mobile device if you're using Google Now. So they're using the same data that is Google Now using for the cards on your phone, for the cards on glass. It can show the weather. What's quite cool about this screenshot I took also some days ago was that it already knew that I'll be in Frankfurt. So it already showed me, hey, you're going to Frankfurt, and the weather is currently shit. So take an umbrella, and unfortunately I don't have an umbrella with me. If you're at the end of these cards, you will go to the settings. There you can set up all kinds of stuff. It's not that interesting. How do you interact? I already showed some of these gestures by waving with my hand. There are a lot of gestures you can use, but 3 are the main things you always do. It's like swipe left and right. You always swipe through cards. Everything is a card on Google Glass. Or you tap things to select things. And as you may notice, it looks totally stupid at some point. Another gesture is going back. If you're in a stack of cards, you swipe down to go back. And if you want to go really nuts in public, then you can also use voice commands and talk to glass, like, OK, glass, take a picture. And I have some screenshots of some use cases, how you can do some things that I want to show you. So Let's take a picture with glass. It's really hard to show it in pictures, so just come over after the talk or when we have time and talk to me and try it yourself, because the pictures don't really show how it feels like. So if you want to take a picture, you activate it, as I said, by just moving your head to the back 30 degrees or just touching it once. And then you can start by a voice command like, OK, glass, take a picture. And actually, right now, it took a picture. And in this example, boom, it just takes a picture in seconds. Another option is this button at the top. If you press it once, it will also just take a picture. If you press it for a long time, it will record a video. By default, the video is 10 seconds long, but if you press it again, it will take a video until the battery is empty. Or if you stop it. You can also stop it, of course. This is a pretty cool feature in the current version. It's experimental, so maybe it will be gone in the next version. You can take a picture just by winking. So I do something like this, and then it just takes a picture. It's pretty cool, but it's also a little bit creepy, of course. The cool thing about it is that you take a lot of more pictures than you usually do, because you just, not by accident, but normally it's a little bit complicated to take out the phone and take a picture. So in some situations, you just take a picture because it's so easy to do. The creepy part about it is that it also works if it's not activated, so you don't need to move your head around or touch it. You just wink, and it will always take a picture. Let's take a look at another example, searching with Google. And I'm not talking about searching like you do it on a desktop, like entering some keywords, but asking questions. So it's a little bit like Google Now on your phone. If you want to do it, just start at the clock after activating or touching it, and you say, OK, glass, Google. And then Google is waiting for a question you can ask it. And you don't have to do a break. You just say, OK, glass, Google. And in this example, I asked, who's the president of the United States? And then it takes a couple of seconds, and it shows you a card. Like in this case, Barack Obama is the president of the United States. And this is not the only information it shows you. You actually get a whole stack of cards. You can swipe through these cards, and you also can see when he's born, who is he married to, things like that. Another cool example is navigation. It's sometimes really hard to use it in Germany because it's only listening to American accent. So if you want to navigate to a German street, then you have a big problem. But in this example, I want to go to McDonald's, and it's easy, and it will understand what McDonald's is. So I again start at the clock, say, OK, glass, get directions to McDonald's. And in my case, it shows a card where the next McDonald's is. Now I want to navigate there. So I can tap it, and it will show me the way how I can walk there. I can also see step-by-step instructions how I can get there, and by swiping for a stack of cards with instructions. What's really cool is the live mode, where it actually follows your head. So in this case, I'm facing down the street, and if I would move my head, then also the screen, the picture would move accordingly. There's another cool demo, and that's the one I would encourage you to try if you want to come and talk to me later. It's an Easter egg that it's in in Google Glass, you can activate it, and then you see a picture of the team at Google that developed Google Glass. And the cool thing about it is that you can move your head around, and the picture will also move around. So you can actually have a 60 degree of the room where it has been taken. The term for applications that the Glass team invented is glassware. So usually apps are called glassware, and besides the examples I've shown, you can, for example, record a video, send text messages through the paired phone. You can call somebody. Again, it will be done through the phone because there's no SIM card in there. You can do Google Plus Hangouts, text and video, and social networks like Twitter and Facebook. Video chats are a bit strange because usually you see each other, and in this case you only see what you are seeing, or the other person is seeing what you are seeing, and it's a little bit strange to talk to somebody and don't see him, but having his vision. That's a good idea. Right now there are a couple of apps, like 20 or 30, really not many. So if you are a developer, that's a great place to start and to create new things. Because currently almost all apps fall into one of these 4 categories. You have social networks, Facebook, Twitter, Google Plus, of course. You have a lot of news apps, like CNN, for example, is if you use the app, they will push cards about breaking news to your stream, and you see what's going on. There are a lot of fitness apps for running, cycling, or sports apps where you get notifications if your favorite team scores a goal or something like that. MyGlass, that's the app that's running on the phone and that is used to pair Glass to your phone. You can do some things with it, like selecting the contacts you want to talk to, that you want to call, or that you want to share pictures with, because you might have hundreds of people on your phone on the contact list, and if you say, I want to call Mark, then Glass might have a problem because there are multiple Marks in my list. So you only select some favorites, and it will always recognize these favorites at first. The application on the phone is also used to activate and select applications you want to use on Glass, because of course it would be crazy hard to install applications just by touching or talking. The same is true for Wi-Fi networks, so you just set up your Wi-Fi on your phone, and then all the data will be synchronized via Bluetooth to your headset. Okay, as this is the Google developer group here, some short slides about developing for Glass. You have 2 options when you want to develop for Glass. The Mirror API that has been around like almost since Glass launched, and the Glass Development Kit, the GDK, which has been released at the end of last year. So the Mirror API. The Mirror API is good for web developers. Is anybody here a web developer? 1, 2, 3? Okay, for you 3. If you use the Mirror API, the app you're writing is not running on the actual device. It's on your server, and your server is using REST APIs to talk to Google servers, and you can interact with the timeline of the user, meaning you can, for example, push cards into the timeline of the Glass user. You have also the option to subscribe to events like the location event. So when I'm moving around, your server will get notified and can react to these events, like pushing a card that is somehow connected to this event. Of course, it only works online because you need all this server interaction in the background. That's why the Glass Development Kit is interesting. The GDK, it's for Android developers. Is anybody an Android developer here? Well, that's more. If you're an Android developer, then developing apps for Glass is really, really easy for you because the GDK is the Android SDK that you already know and some small frameworks for things that you need on Glass. It's currently in sneak peek, which means it's a preview. It's not even beta, and it's currently the second version, and it has already changed from version 1 to version 2, so expect it to change a lot more. So if you are writing apps for the current version and there will be a new version, expect your app to break. So it's really new ground that you're walking on. The cool thing about the Android application is that it runs on Glass itself. So it works offline and you have access to almost all the APIs you know from Android. If you're an Android developer, you know what layouts are, activity services, how to talk to sensors. It will be totally the same on Glass. Glass will, or the Glass Development Kit will take care of all the things that are complicated on Glass, like location. There's no GPS in here. GPS, it actually gets from my phone. But you don't need to know about it. You just write, you just use the location provider like you know it from Android. And in addition to that, there are some more add-ons like for these voice commands, or detecting gestures on this touchpad and creating these cards and layouts. There's only one advice I can give you when you want to develop for Glass. Do never just port an application to Glass because it might not really work well. Try to design your app for Glass. The reason for that is that a lot of use cases on your phone are cool because you have a phone in your hand and you can touch it and do things with it by really interacting with it. On Glass, you can't touch the screen, and that's totally different. The cool thing, on the other hand, is that Glass enables you to do things that you can't do with your phone, especially together with the screen in front of you and the head movement. Because usually you don't walk around like this, but with Glass you are, and so you can do a lot of new things you can't do with a phone. Okay, this has already been my very fast introduction to Glass, but I'm open to a lot of questions. So if you have questions, then yeah. Yes?
Okay, thank you. This is a question about public acceptance. I know that Google has now a special term for like public acceptance. It's called, I don't know if you heard it, a glass hole.
Yeah.
Right? So it's basically, and they have also instructions for people how to behave with the glass. What is your personal experience? Do you wear it on public? How do people react on that? How do they look at you? And so what's basically the public acceptance? How do you experience that?
That's quite interesting because if you're watching the Glass Explorer communities, then you see a lot of people in the US using it, and they get a lot of questions and people are always excited about it. I never experienced that in Germany, except at events like here. So people are usually a little bit more, I don't know, shy maybe. They don't talk so much to strangers, so I don't get a lot of reaction except for people staring or looking at your face. But I have to say I'm also a shy guy, so I don't try to force it on people. So if I'm at the location where I know that people might have a problem with it, then I won't wear it. So I'm not pushing it. Yep.
Yeah, so are there any plans for a computer vision framework or SDK?
The only one I know, it's not from Google, but Metaio, who writes a lot of SDKs for augmented reality, also has an SDK that works on glass. But it's the only one I know.
Okay, so another question to that one. Do you know which core is inside the CPU?
It's from Texas Instruments,
Okay.
an OMAP, I think. But I'm not 100% sure. I'm not really a hardware guy.
Okay. Yeah, I just asking because it's interesting. Qualcomm has some SDKs for computer vision, which are optimized for their processors. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Could you wait a minute?
Hi. Have you experienced any obstacles in bright sunlight with reading the content on your screen?
Not really. It adjusts the brightness depending on your surroundings. Actually, what I read, but I never actually tried it, if it's true, is there's also a camera in here that's used for the wing feature. And it also, according to articles I read, should see how many light is reflected from your eyes and then adjusts the brightness of the screen. But actually, I never looked into the sun with it, so I can't give you a good answer to that.
So you don't have to hide
question.
in the dark to see. Okay, thank you.
Any more? Yeah.
I just have a funny question. Well, what about the people already wearing the glasses?
Sorry?
Or sunglasses? Can we use it still if we have
Some couple of weeks ago, Google released other frames for Google Glass, and you can use it with regular lenses for your vision, whatever you need. And in this version, you can clip other shades in here, like for sunglasses or other glasses.
Okay, thank you.
More?
Why don't you ask do you take it off in the shower?
Yes, I do.
Okay, maybe one last question.
Back.
Ah, okay. Could you please come to here? I can. Yeah, maybe. Ah, okay, he's coming.
Hi.
Hi.
Having a screen in front of your eye is probably begging for augmented reality, but I think Google is not only not pushing for it, it's directly de-advocating that. Why do you think that is? Or do you think it might change in the future?
Augmented reality is a really good use case for it. But this model has a problem. It's designed so that it's only in the upper right corner. So it's actually not that great for augmented reality, because if you want to overlay the reality, you would have to look like this to actually have it in your vision all the time. I guess it's mainly because of battery issues, because it's really small and the battery lasts only a day because the screen is off most of the time. If you want to use it for augmented reality, then you couldn't do it with this device right now. Okay,
maybe I could add something to augmented reality. So if you have Son Project Tango, which is basically are some sensors and combined with a camera, and they can just build up the room. So I could just take a camera here and move it, and it would track the room. It would make a 3D model of the room. So you could just then you could make augmented reality better. Because the problem with augmented reality right now is that it's relying on the magnetic sensor of the phone. And if you are staying, like for example, in Darmstadt, and there are all these trams there, and with all their engines, electrical engines, and the magnetic sensor goes, woo, it's going in every direction. It's going in every direction, so you can't really do augmented reality today. But with this new Project Tango, I think you could do that.
Okay. Then, thanks for listening. I'm going to charge the device, so talk to me if you want to try it later.